Well, natural disasters, civil unrest, and war has many Americans bracing for the worst. And in these polarizing times, some Americans aren't just sitting idly by, waiting for destruction to hit their doorstep. Instead, a growing number of citizens say they are preparing to defend themselves. This so-called prepared citizens movement offers regular civilians the opportunity to undergo hardcore military training. NewsNation's Caprariello visited one of these training sites, joins us now live. So, Alex, what exactly is this prepared citizens movement?
Yeah, it's a great question, Kelly, and it was a new concept for me as well. So Americans have always owned guns. We know that. People believe in their Second Amendment rights. But what the prepared citizens movement is all about, it's about a different mindset and a different philosophy altogether. People who are actually looking around at the current state of the world, whether it's riots, protests, political violence, or the possibility of nuclear war, and they don't want to wait until it's too late to actually take up an offensive stance when using those weapons, being proactive rather than reactive. So I visited a spot in Central Florida, met with an Air Force veteran by the name of Eric Rauscher, who actually goes and teaches everyday Americans this combat-style trainings. He knows things because of his time in the military that he can share with everyday Joes, just like you and I. He said he got inspiration about this after watching the war break out in Ukraine, seeing these everyday Ukrainians take up arms, but not really sure how to actually use those weapons to protect their motherland. Take a listen.
They were trying to learn how to shoot literally days before the Russians invaded. And so they were almost like helpless. And I saw it was like, in America, we shouldn't have that problem. One, we have the Second Amendment, but we as citizens should have the ability to defend our country and ourselves, and it's in our Constitution.
Of course, the prepared citizens that I spoke to say that they hope they never actually have to use this type of training in an offensive position. They don't want to actually have to utilize it in a way that protects themselves, protects their families. But they say if the time comes where their worst nightmares actually come true, at least they know how to use their weapons, they know how to use them stealthily, and they can do it with a calm heart, which is something that they practice day in and day out.
All right, that's fascinating. So who are some of the folks that you met undergoing this training?
Yeah, I talk about everyday citizens. I also talk about average Joes, and that really is the reality of it. I met people from all sorts of different professions, not necessarily police officers, military, or former law enforcement. For example, one guy, Brandon Jordan, he's a YouTube content creator. He's an underwater diver that searches for things in the water. Fascinating stuff. Also, another guy, Dan Pham. He is a civil engineer. He builds robots. You can see some pictures of him actually doing his work. On top of that, I met photographers. I met an airline pilot who works for a commercial airliner, believe it or not. Also a software developer. So people from all different walks of life, lawyers, dentists, doctors, so on and so forth. They're the types of people that you wouldn't think would pick up guns, but they're actually learning these advanced techniques on top of that. So it's a story that you're not going to want to miss. It airs tonight on Elizabeth Vargas Reports at 7 p.m. Eastern. Kelly.
All right, we will mark our calendars. Can't wait. Alex Caprariello, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.